Department of Software and Information Systems Engineering, and I'm going to talk to you about some artificial intelligence tools applied to social networks. Social networks, I guess everyone knows what it is. And yes, they do widen our communication circles. They facilitate faster dissemination of information and ideas. But on the other hand, we also notice things such as bullying, cybercrime performed through social networks, and all sorts of things that we would like to stop. Interestingly, the good guys and the bad guys in social networks use very similar tools and methods to achieve their goals. Some of these tools are connected with collection of information. Yes, data is the issue now. And data, there is lots of data in social networks. But it's not 100% accurate. The good guys and the bad guys need to clean this data, need to complete this information before they do data mining and derive insights. When they have insight, they can act, engage in social interactions with their targets, and achieve the goal. So let's overview some of these tools. Collecting the information. We need to find profiles in social networks that are containing some very important information to us. For example, we would like to find children that are in distress, or an adversary may want to find all employees of a certain company he would like to penetrate. We would not discuss ethical and legal issues which do pose some very unuseful asymmetry because the good guys are obliged and the bad guys are not. But finding information in social networks is related to some old artificial intelligence problem, a search problem. So we would like to find profiles that contain useful information. Let's call them leads. There are also profiles that contain no useful information and profiles that we have known nothing about them. And the objective is basically ranking the profiles that we did not acquire, we did not look into them, and asking which profile should we acquire first. Intelligent crawling. Luckily, in social networks, even the ancient Greeks noticed that people like people that are like them. Like. So if we have two profiles, A and B, I guess everyone would guess which profile we want to check first, if it is a lead or not lead. Profile A has 3 lead friends. Probably it is a lead. But there are more complex situations. For example, X and Y both have 1 lead friend. Are they lead or not? Well, everyone would guess intuitively that X has higher probability of being a friend. Why? Because in its wider social cycles, there are more leads. And this becomes a bit more complicated, but you can derive equations to rank the probability of a profile being a lead just from collateral information, without looking into this profile specifically. Okay, so assume we collected the profiles of some target group. Is it 100% accurate? Most probably not. So let me ask you a question. Out of you, how many have more than 100 friends on Facebook? Please raise a hand. A good bunch of people. And how many of you have acquaintances in real life that are not your friends on Facebook? even more. Okay, so we need to complete this information. Can we complete it? Yes, we can, and actually Facebook does a pretty good job in suggesting the friends, but let me give you a bit of intuition. According to the same homophily principle, people that have many friends have high chances to be acquainted. They have high chances to meet each other either virtually or physically. So yeah, they can be friends, but not always. If profiles A and B are very popular in social networks, they have hundreds, thousands of friends within Israel. High chances that many people are following both of them. So we need to consider both the number of common friends and the number of friends of these two accounts, and this becomes even more complicated when we count the number of passes, we count properties, we count some other traits and apply machine learning to infer the probability of a link. But actually, you need about 40% of data in order to accurately infer social ties in networks. You don't need more. Okay, so we collected the information, we completed the information, and now let's do some mining on it. So we have an informal social network of some target population, an organization of sorts. In this case, this experiment was performed on 6 worldwide organizations. And try to infer management positions, we try to infer organizational structure, departments, startups that were acquired by the company just from looking on the social network data. And basically you can do it. Management positions, you can infer with all sorts of centrality indices, which are part of the complex network study. Centrality indices such as the degree, or to what extent a node bridges between two different hubs, etc. And you can use clustering or community detection techniques. The colors in these pictures are communities, are bunches of tightly connected people which are loosely connected with the rest of the organization. What does it mean? Usually these are geographically dispersed departments. This may be acquired startup companies. You can really, from just looking at Facebook data, understand whether some department was once a startup on its own. Sometimes you get even a community of managers, which seems to be a very good for the organization. And here you have an organization with a very interesting and curious thing. The green bunch there is the company's amateur sports team. If I would be an adversary, this would be the ideal point to penetrate the organization. Imagine yourself taking some fake profile, being a fan of the same sports and same people that these are, connecting with them due to mutual interest. And once I have a foothold within the organization, we can extend it and send a CV with a malicious PDF that will infect the computer of some manager, and we already have a cyber attack ongoing within the organization. And unfortunately, these things do happen. We notice many cases of social networks being used both to collect information about organizations or people and to penetrate these organizations through the social networks. as the security awareness of people within participating within social network is still not at its highest levels, artificial profiles can acquire up to 80% acceptance rate within the target population. This is a short experiment we did with actually with social honeypots, but a fake profile trying to make friends with key positions within the organization had 8 out of 10 friend requests answered positively. It's an amazing and frightening number. But you may ask why good guys would use fake profiles. Why good guys use the same methods to perform their goals? So social network honeypots. Social network honeypots are actually fake profiles. Their target is attracting people who would like to collect information about the organization or penetrate it. Actually, some police departments do use social network honeypots as children to detect abusers, to attract abusers and catch them. In this case, you can also use social network honeypots as profiles within the organizational network with very low security awareness, seemingly low security awareness, and key position, just for them to be attacked. Another thing you can do with social networks, once you have the profile information and the social media information, you can rank propaganda, you can find bots on the social networks and rank different campaigns according to the participation of malicious or legitimate profiles in these campaigns. And in this way detect fake news or manipulated campaigns. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Boaz Zeniman. As I was introduced, I'm a technical evangelist with Amazon Web Services. And I would like to talk today a bit about the Amazon AI vision and how do we see it and which tools and services we provide to our customers. For the small chance that there are people here that are not familiar with Amazon Web Services, I'm going to just use 1 minute of my time to introduce Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services started in 2006 as an idea coming from Amazon.com after almost 2 decades of running massive infrastructure to run the Amazon website. And we thought about the idea to take this infrastructure and allow other customers to use the same infrastructure and the knowledge we have to run their own websites. And this is how we created the first cloud computing solution. And we call it Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services started with 2 or 3 very basic services like storage and compute. And fast forward 12 years later, we're talking about more than 120 different services on the platform. We provide services from the basic compute, storage, security, networking, and going very, very specifically to services such as artificial intelligence we're going to talk about here today, mobile development, storage, analytics, and many, many others. And it's not only the number of services we have, it's the pace of innovation. This is the number of new features and updates, critical updates to existing features we had in 2017. It's more than 1,400 new features in 1 year. This is on average almost 4 features every day. And this is what we provide our customers to build better products and to innovate much faster. And part of it is artificial intelligence, and this is why all of us are here today. And I want to give you a short history lesson about artificial intelligence with Amazon. Do you know this page? Who saw this page live in 1995? Nobody? Oh, thank you. So this is one of the first pages of Amazon.com, 1995, just after Amazon was started. This is the old logo, and we're selling only books. And still, 1995, we already have a recommendation engine on this page that will recommend you the next book you should look into. And it's based on your purchase history and on your browsing history. And you can find exactly the same thing today on Amazon.com with purchasing any product. So this is, by the way, the next book I'm going to read at my flight today, and already some recommendation for additional Bitcoin and other books in the same area. And this is not the only thing we're doing with AI today. Today at Amazon, we're basing many of our solutions on artificial intelligence and deep learning, and I'm going to just show you a few. So I don't know if you're familiar with those cute orange robots that are going to be on stage back in a second. Those robots are called Kiva. And those Kiva robots are running our fulfillment centers. They are basically in charge to make sure that you're getting the package you order for Amazon as soon as possible. They will bring the products to the stations when people are putting them into your boxes in the most efficient way possible. And everything here is fully automated. There is nobody behind the scenes that needs to tell the robots what to do, where to go, how not to run one into each other, which is pretty sophisticated when you have thousands of them. And this is how we run our fulfillment centers. Another great example is Amazon Echo and the Alexa family. And if you all watched the news last week, talking about the new skill to teach Israeli students English using Alexa skills. And there are more than 30,000 skills that we have today on the platform, and people keep building new skills on a daily basis. Once again, this entire family is based on artificial intelligence, on natural language understanding, taking text from people and understanding what they want to do and act upon it. And we do many other things with artificial intelligence. And it can be fraud detection for Amazon.com and personalization that we already discussed, customer support for some degree using chatbots, and of course, predictive maintenance. We know when something is going to break, and we have customers doing the same. British Gas in the UK will send a technician to your home to fix your gas station before you opening a support ticket. Why? Because they have sensors that can tell them when something is going to break. And today, we have dozens of customers on our platform running machine learning and artificial intelligence in many, many different use cases. And we see many more customers coming to us and asking us, how can we do that? How can we integrate artificial intelligence, machine learning into our application, into our workloads? So we took a mission on ourselves. We took a mission to create a platform that will put machine learning and artificial intelligence in the hands of every data scientist and developer out there. And we're doing that by providing a platform that includes many different pieces that will allow you to build whatever solution that you need. At the base of this platform, we have our frameworks and infrastructure. So if you are as smart as Jonathan, that was here earlier, and want to build your own solution end-to-end, and you have the data, and you have data scientists, and you know what you would like to build, and you have all the knowledge in-house, we will provide you with the latest and greatest hardware to run your machine learning and deep learning processes on top of our platform. And everything is based on the AWS model as pay as you go. You don't need to purchase now dozens of GPUs from NVIDIA, wait for 12 months to get them and pay millions for them. You can rent them in 5 minutes from AWS, train your model for 3 hours, shut them down, and stop paying. And if your company has some of the expertise, but not all of them, and you need some help from us, we have the platform services that will allow you to choose which part of the platform you would like to use for your solution. And if you're a developer, like me, with no knowledge in artificial intelligence, no math degree, not even a BA, and you still want to integrate artificial intelligence capabilities into your products, we provide the application services. And the application services are super simple API that you can call with a single line of code and integrate artificial intelligence into your product. And we provide different services today. I'm going to talk about a few of them, but in general, we're talking about vision services, about conversational chatbots, and language services. If we are looking at our vision services, We provide two services. One of them dealing with images, the other one dealing with videos. And when I'm talking about Amazon Recognition Image, this is not a typo, this is the name of the product, and I would like to have image recognition capabilities inside my application, but I don't know how to train a network. I don't know how to run a model. I can use this API, send an image to the API, and instantly get object and scene detection, facial analysis. If I'm building my own database of faces, I can do recognition comparing to this database. I can do unsafe image detection if I'm dealing with user-generated content and I want to be sure that nobody is sending me unsafe content. I can do celebrity recognition from a huge database of celebrities. I can extract text from images, and I can do face comparison. And same goes for video. So recognition video will do more or less the same things, but with some additional features that are relevant for video, like person tracking, or doing real-time live streaming analytics, and many other features that are video related. And when we're talking about our language services, we have 5 services that are solving the integration of language solution into your application. We provide you Amazon Lex to build your chatbots. And I'll give you a link to a chatbot later on to rate this talk. You can chat with my Messenger account and read this talk. We have Amazon Comprehend that can classify text, Amazon Transcribe that can take sound and transcribe it into text, Poly that we're going to talk about in a second, and Amazon Translate that supports today 24 different languages. And the applications we see today with those services are enormous. We see people building knowledge management systems and customer service using chatbots and automated call centers. And we see digital assistants and a lot of personalization and, of course, localization and bots. And this is simple. This is something you can do in a single line of code. And just for example, taking one of the services, let's talk for a second about Amazon Poly. Amazon Poly will take any text you provide and with a single line of code, convert this text into sound. So in this case, I have today in Seattle, WA, it's 11 circle F. Am I reading it right? More or less, right? So if I'm going to send this text to Poly, this is what I'm going to get. I hope the sound is working.
Today in Seattle, Washington, it's 11 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, and Poly can support 52 voices in 25 languages. And 52 voices in 25 languages means that I can do voices in other accents like this.
Today, in Mumbai, India, it's 32 degrees Celsius.
This is still English, but slightly different. And of course, I can do it in other languages as well.
Сегодня в Москве, Россия составляет 12 градусов Цельсия.
Any Russian speakers? Of course, this is right. So, and I can show you the code, but I won't go into it right now. But this is as simple as putting a single line of code into your application and getting an MP3 file you can save on your machine, reuse it as many times as you want, or do it in real time, depending on your specific application. And we already have today many customers that are using Poly to change the way they interact with sound. So who's familiar with Duolingo? Usually it's 80% of the crowd. So Duolingo is a super popular application for learning languages. And Duolingo used to take actors and record them for the different voice bits inside the app. They switched almost completely, at least for all the languages that Poly supports, to use Poly. And the reason they're using Poly because this is much simpler for them. They can do it much faster and, of course, cheaper than bringing an actor into a studio, recording it, editing it, uploading, and so on and so forth. And this is one example. Another great example of using Poly is the Washington Post. If you're not aware of that, you can listen to Washington Post articles today, not only read them. So if you go into the Washington Post website and you can't read it right now because you're busy with something else, you're driving, jogging, or you simply can't read, you can click a button and listen to the article instantly. Just think about the possibilities of providing something like that for university students. Sending them a syllabus at the beginning of the year with URLs to the PDFs of the articles they need to read and a link to the MP3 file. Think about how many more content we can consume when we have something like that, and it's done automatically. I don't need to bring anybody into the room and record them reading this article for 20 minutes. I can simply do an API call and get it running for me. And this is the basic idea of the AI solution coming from AWS. Make it simple, make it accessible to everybody. Just think about it. Artificial intelligence or image recognition, they are not new technologies. We all heard about image recognition for at least 10 years, probably more. But think about 10 years ago. Who had access to image recognition? Government, military, intelligence? What about the developer? What about me that I would like to add image recognition into my application? Now it's possible and we can do it. And when we're talking about our educational customers, the list goes on and on. There are some links at the bottom of this slide if you want to read more about it. But we have many different customers from the education space that are using Amazon Web Services. And they're using them for different use cases. Some of them are using it for the compute, and some of them are using for them enormous amounts of storage they need for their videos and articles and anything else. And some of them are using it for artificial intelligence. For example, if we're talking about Serego, one of our customers, their definition of their product is using AI to make people smarter. How they do that? They improve how people learn by understanding with AI what they already know, and then creating a curriculum especially for them to make their learning process the best possible. And in addition to all the features they can get from artificial intelligence, they can scale instantly to any number. If you watch the video of the CEO of Serego on our website, you'll hear him talking about a new customer that brings on the platform 250 new students, and he needs it overnight. If they had to do it with on-premise hardware, it would take them months. And on our platform, they can do it instantly. So if you want to read more about it, you're more than welcome to look at one of these links. And if you're coming from the EdTech space and you have your own startup, company, even an idea, and would like to get some help in working with AWS, we're providing the AWS EdStart program, which is a kind of a virtual accelerator for startups in this field. And by joining this program, you can get access to our technical resources. You can access to a huge community of companies working on solutions that are in the same area as yours. And of course, you can get to some funds as part of this program. So if you are interested, there is a link over here that you can get more information. And some of the team members are here in the crowd and going to be during the breaks. So come talk to us and we'll connect you to the right people. So we see a lot of usage for education and AI. And we expect that it's just going to grow with more tools and more accessible tools for the general public. So if you would like to talk to my chatbot and tell me what do you think about this talk, you're more than welcome to scan this QR code or go to the Facebook Messenger link you have here in the bottom. Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, how's it going? מה קורה חינוך, חינוך, education, למה ignorance? לא ignorance, בסוף אל תכעס עליי, איך קוראים למנחה הנחמד? Don't be angry with me, but we kind of change it to uneducated, lacking knowledge of a specific field, ignorant, nascent, unlearned, unlettered. למה? Why? Because the three of us, as a disclaimer, are not experts on education, and we're not experts on education technology. We would like to bring to you practical thought and practical and commercial use of AI in the very humble places where it's already making some difference. And then it's really up to you as the EdTech community to think about which components and which capabilities and which enablers in what we show you could mean something to you, because we don't know. And that's the big disclaimer in saying basically that we're uneducated. But also, I have a confession to make. It doesn't matter how I thought I would start this, but I have a confession to make, and my confession is I don't care. I don't care that AlphaGo beat someone at Go. I don't care. It makes zero change in my life. It doesn't make me angry because I know people with PhDs, and it's not that I don't, well, I kind of dislike you, but if you are in EdTech, you have a very short line of sight in where you want your ROI to be. Your ROI is in making a change in people's lives by making their learning and education better. So if somebody, it's too far, it's too remote. I know from an academic point of view, to PhDs, it tells a world of difference, and it explains the possibilities and the neurons and the networks, and they're all like in this big neural jacuzzi, but I don't care. I don't care. There, I said it. So, let's talk about uses of AI. And welcome to our corner, things you can do with AI. The first thing you can do with AI has nothing to do with AI. You could do it with almost anything, right? They're doing it now with blockchain, and that is to overwhelm, control your audience, make them humble, because that's how they obey. That's how they're more submissive, right? So let's take a few examples. First of all, of course, AI has to look like those cute little human-like robots that we always, right? Okay, but let's go to the paranoia, to using AI as a power of, you don't need to know what it is, but you need to know that Google is already late to China's AI revolution. I don't know if you can see it, but look at the nice, smiling, harmless American and the frightening Chinese guy looking at him saying, "You're lost, you're late to the race." Okay, new study. Artificial intelligence is coming for your job, millennials. You don't know what it is yet, but run. Run because it's coming for you. My favorite one, AI is the biggest risk we face as a civilization, Elon Musk says. That was before he said he's going to buy all the stock back. So he had a bit more reliability back. Think about the window you will look at the world from if you are actually looking at people saying, don't worry about everything else, the floods, the fires, the poverty, the wars. It's AI. That's the biggest risk to civilization. And of course, the buzzwords, and of course, everything else. I'm going to rush through this because this is popular media, and nobody has said anything about AI yet. And then, of course, the next thing you can do with AI is you still don't know. You still don't need to know what it is, but you need to spray some of it on top of whatever it is you have, because why not, right? It's like, there. It's better with AI. So, yeah, just like, okay, of course, AI-powered apps that will school you in the ways of chess and Go. The way of chess and Go. Okay. Speaking about answers.com and Quora, how do I add AI to my app? Why do you want to add AI to your app? So that doesn't matter. It's flavor of the month, right before blockchain. Okay, and then this beautiful example. Hey, 100 Flowers, how is your chatbot working out? And then this, which is one word that all the PhDs don't want you to know about. All the PhDs that have spoken here today, and probably the ones that will, there's one term that they don't want you to know about. False positive. False positive. You know that guy in your life that thinks he knows? He thinks he knows because he has that much confidence in himself or herself that they think they've seen enough or understood enough or received enough signals to come to a conclusion. One of the biggest risks of AI when it comes to meeting humans with non-academic stuff, with real-world stuff, is that it is simply wrong. And therefore, the one thing missing in AI that we'll have to think about today is artificial modesty or artificial humility, which has to do with the scientific notion of probability. I think maybe that's what's going on with you. I think maybe if you're looking for a phone, you're also looking for a... Again? Shield. Shield and a sword. We should do a startup and have phones with a shield and a sword. So it's not only on the defensive side, also if you drop it by accident, it can offense as well. Think proactively defending phones. Not just a shield, but okay, I have to move faster. So I say, whenever I'm not sure about something, and you know, it's funny because they're telling us that everything needs to be natural, right? But But intelligence, you want as many E numbers as you can get your hands on. Yeah, let's make it artificial. So let's go back to basics. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. And I love this. I just took this from Google. It's not even like I worked hard to find something. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Think about it, because every word in this definition has to do with supervised, unsupervised, and with labeled and unlabeled data, and with training and inference. Because it is about the stuff that you do know about before people invented AI, is you know about the learning of humans. The next thing is learning. Learning is the acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or by being taught. Again, there's almost a natural semantic correlation between this and how we teach machines. Okay? So now we go back to the motivation. Okay, there's AI in the world, and everybody's telling us it's the revolution. Everybody's telling us it's happening, and there's neurons, and these neurons work in networks, and they do stuff. But why? So I wanna like chill out for a second and ask you, when does a technology succeed? Think about the wheel, the cell phone, the GPS. When does a technology succeed? And I always claim, you're all entitled to your own definitions, but I always claim technology succeeds when it gives you or lets you do more for less. More of something you wanted or needed to begin with, and less of something, energy, anxiety, money, stress, etc. So think about these very successful apps that you all know. Which of those, think to yourself, rely on AI for their core purpose? Not for the fluff or evolution, for the core purpose. Can you do Get Texty without AI? Yeah. Can you do Facebook without AI? You'll have your chance. Well, I will claim you can have a page with my name and my photo and information about me, and allow me to invite people and be invited. Oh, we'll get there. The core purpose when they started in Stanford, not Facebook of today. Facebook started and reached its worth, not relying exactly by enabling in an infrastructure and UI way things that humans were doing on campus anyway. It was paving the way for libido, if I may. Same here, probably very little AI as well, right? Who's the one logo on this slide that probably wouldn't have been who they are? Spotify. Now, it's true that Waze is tricky. I come from the navigation business. Waze is a little tricky because you could claim that routing, but it's mostly the core task of Waze and other navigation systems is predominantly rule-based. Spotify, much like the Musical Genome Project and Pandora, is relying on understanding the DNA of a song, and then understanding how songs are similar. So if so I don't have to tell them that I like Nirvana, and then they will have some product database and say, if you like Nirvana, you probably like Pearl Jam because they're both from Seattle and they were in the 90s. No, if you like that distortion sound and the hard breaks and stops and the soar male voice, etc., then if you like Nirvana, you'll probably like, but it doesn't have to be labeled. They don't care. If there's a band in Copenhagen doing similar music, they will recommend it for me because of the DNA of the music itself. And that is a breakthrough that these companies introduced. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. You've had quite a lot of people talking to you about these things. There's a lot of terminologies, but nobody says it's like just explain it. If you show me enough pictures of a day and enough pictures of a night, then I'll be able to pick up on it and tell the difference. And that's an easy case. But then you'll hear a lot of data scientists say, I don't have enough data. My model is perfect, but I don't have enough data for the training. So I won't go into that right now. This is interesting because it looks like rule-based, but actually it's learned. So if you think about your kids in school and they say, oh, the Bible teacher, when she says you have to have this homework done by Thursday, she means it and she'll punish you. But if the other lady says it, the sports teacher says something, then she doesn't mean it. And how did we learn that? By spending time with most of them and understanding that the same semantic command from both of them actually means something else in real life. I'm going to show you something that my team has built and we've worked on, because probably entering the subject matter part of my talk here before we switch to my distinguished colleagues. What my team was dealing with in the past 4.5 years when I was up until recently a GM with Intel is individual behavioral pattern recognition, which is very, very different from the tasks that we've seen today. And I think bears a lot of promise for some of the things Yossi Vardi and others said about understanding the individual student. And it's difficult because you're dealing with a snowflake. It's easy to say that people who look for a new phone also look for a shield, but it's harder when it relates to choices people make throughout their day, etc. I'm going to show you a very short clip. Actually, we've gone way more advanced than this, but this is from when we started, and it's actual code working on stage. Let's see. Wow, this is a coordination.
We've shown it, we're going to show it here tonight with a built-in personal assistant that proactively engages with your calendar. It understands the context, and it interrupts politely. And so Larry's going to put us through a demonstration right here of what Jarvis can do.
Brian, as you mentioned, with this smart headset, I can interact with my phone over here without picking it up. In fact, without even touching it. And I'm going to share that experience with you right now. And what I'll do is I will make dinner reservations for after your keynote tonight. So let's give it a run. Hello, Jarvis. I'd like to have a nice dinner. Find me a good Indian restaurant around here.
The best one around is Mount Everest India's Cuisine, which is located on Sahara Avenue, 13 minutes drive from here. Would you like to go there now?
Not yet. I'd like to be there at 8 p.m.
It conflicts with your day one summary meeting. Would you still like to go to the restaurant and notify Diana that you're not coming?
Yes, please do.
Sure, I've notified her and will let you know when it's time to leave for the restaurant. By the way, you have 3 new messages from your wife. Would you like me to read them to you now?
No, not now, but please remind me after I leave here.
Sure, I'll remind you later.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Don't forget those emails from your wife, or you'll be in real trouble.
Jarvis won't let me forget.
Okay, so you've seen things like this 100 times before, right? What's the weather like in San Francisco? It's 30 degrees inside. Where's the AI here? And the behavioral AI is not where you think it is. It's in saying things like your wife. Because there's a person, a contact in the user's life that is identified with a certain label. So when you think about behavioral semantic recognition or pattern recognition using AI, a lot of what you focus on is labeling the unlabeled, or understanding that some place is my work, and some place is my favorite gym, and some place, or this is where I go for lunch with someone. So you look at this. Basically, we're looking at dividing user state and user intent into molecules of what, where, when, who, and how. So through resolving semantically, or basically understanding in human practical terms, what these elements are through the signals coming from various sources for the user. And then you say, when I need to buy wine in Sunnyvale and I'm driving, where and when do I do it? When I need to, if I want to go to the Adele concert at Madison Square Garden at this time, who shall I invite and how will I get there? If I want to have dinner with Dan, and then have these red questions come up from past behavior, where past signals, if they show a certain pattern that is as close as possible to conclusive, make sure it's labeled, and go forward with it. So if you think about it, and I'm going to run through all the think about a place for a second. It starts with a coordinate that the GPS produces. It then does some reverse geocoding and gives us an address. It then says, oh, this is Intel Santa Clara. And then it understands me from past behavior and says, this is where I work. Right? There's a little bit of line there because work and home detection uses a little bit of rule-based, but it doesn't matter. Similarly, we've done this thing where you could spend some time with the system, and then it will recommend the means of transport. In this case, it knows that when I leave work to a course at Rothschild Boulevard, I usually take the bus. and that thing becomes a recommendation based on semantic and behavioral pattern recognition. Okay? Similarly, with honey, don't forget to pick up the pizza from the Italian place on your way home. Identifying the product taxonomy is not AI. Detecting the habit of where that Italian place is in relation to the situation is to some extent. Detecting that the trip starts is low-level AI with regards to what the sensors are doing in identifying a pattern of motion, which is basically how Waze and Pango and others are detecting this. And then detecting home and work, again, and the routine between them is a combination of some AI and some dirty trick rules to make it more accurate and less false positive. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Ronan. So my name is Yoni Wexler, and one of my first childhood memories is sitting in kindergarten and playing. And on the other side of the room, the teacher changed that wooden board that we had that tells the day. And for the first time, I noticed that there's something on that board. And I walked all the way to the board, and I looked at it, and all of a sudden, all these symbols disappeared. I remember standing there for what seemed like eternity and wondering how come they disappeared. They were just there. And 15 years later, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And it always kept me curious about reading. And I ended up in the high-tech world in artificial intelligence. And I just want you to realize, for those of you who are not very familiar with this term, artificial intelligence is a very curious term. Because we all know what artificial is, but intelligence is not well defined at all. Even the dictionary, you can't really find it. Now, at Orcam, we are wrapping this intelligence in a tiny device that helps millions of people. Now, we have a lot of technical difficulties. Let me just overcome one of them. Ah, there we go. Anyway, maybe I won't do a demo. Let me see. Oh, okay, here we go. So, sorry about that. But let this be the list of our problems today. There? All right. I have this tiny device, which you can't hear at the moment, but if things would have worked, you would have. It's a tiny, tiny, clever device. It has an eye in the front, and it has a speaker in the back. And you put it just like this on your glasses. And you can read with it anything. And you can read any text on any surface, and it can tell you the names of your friends or your peers. And with a device like this, kids can go to school and can learn and can socialize with their friends. And the amazing thing about this is that everything happens here, in this device. So it translates what it sees to words, and it speaks to you. And so there's no issue of privacy, and you can take it anywhere with you. See, like this. Now, we call this the My Eye, because it's a device that helps me. And so imagine, let me see if I can change the slide. Oh, it works. So imagine sitting in the first grade, and you are handed a book, and this is what you see. And this is the reality for millions and millions of people, and especially kids. And they can be blind, they can be low vision, or they can be dyslexic. And they can be clever, and they can be very curious, but they are blocked from information. So what most of them do is just give up because of the technical ability of reading. And we give them this ability. And now let me show you one child where this helped a lot. This is Dylan, and let's see if we're lucky and the video will play.
Come on, go. But she's doing good.
That's someone, a favorite customer, who sees the world a little differently. But thanks to a new device,
I think my OrCam is going to help me with reading.
12-year-old Dylan LeMaster is learning in ways he couldn't before.
Makes me feel like I am not visually impaired. That I'm reading a regular book that somebody that has full vision can read.
Sun-made natural California rays covered on Etsy. 8 splash fruit medley juice.
Gaining more independence.
I don't need to ask anyone for help anymore. I can do things more on my own without having to ask somebody like, hey, can you read this to me? Hey, what's this? Automatic page reading.
A gift not of sight, but new understanding for a child eager to explore on his own.
You push it again and shut down.
Shutting down.
It's overwhelming. You know, the good nature and graciousness of people, and it sometimes can catch up to you. But there's good in the world, I guess, and we're just the happy people who are getting the good side of it.
Ready to conquer another day.
Come on, Dylan, let's go outside for a while. It's too nice a day to be inside, so let's enjoy the nice day.
In Painesville, Maya Belai, Fox 8 News.
Thank you. So with this technology, Dylan is no longer defined by his disability. And he can do whatever he wants, and he can study whatever he wants, and he will excel in whatever he's good at. And this gives you an idea of where things are going with technology that helps us, the amazing humans we are, do more, and experience more, and achieve more, and fulfill our full potential. Thank you.
I'm Abedassi, and today I'm going to talk about Video Indexer, which is a product developed in Microsoft Israel. And I will show you how we leverage AI technologies to analyze video content. So first, let me start with why videos. Actually, you all know that technology, excuse me. Okay, so technology is now, today is cheaper than it has ever been before. Video is everywhere. There is a Cisco forecast that expects, okay, so there is visually no boundaries on how, where, and when people interact with content. Internet video is everywhere, and there is a recent Cisco forecast that expects 70% of consumer internet traffic will be around 70% of video in the internet. So we decided to build a video analysis platform that analyzes this content using artificial intelligence. So you are already convinced as well, I think, from the morning sessions that artificial intelligence is getting smarter and smarter, and it's even hitting human parity in various various tasks, as you can see here in the slides. 2 years ago, Microsoft researchers announced, presented an algorithm for speech recognition, which can transcribe a conversation as accurate as a professional human can do. This technology delivered a word error rate of 5.1%, which is roughly the same as a human transcriber can do in a conversation. I will show you a demo in a few minutes that aggregates some of the state-of-the-art models, machine learning models that we have at Microsoft, and putting all of this together into one of our products called Video Indexer, which is actually accepts a video and extracts deep insights from the content. We are not talking about searching videos based on their title or the description that there is for this video, but we are talking about analyzing videos based on the faces that appear in this video, the sentiment, the main topics that are talked about in the video. So it's the next generation of search engines where we can empower search engines and recommendation engines. Imagine that you want to retrieve all the talks or all the lectures that you have in your archive where Oprah Winfrey talked about or Donald Trump talked about a topic with a positive sentiment, for example. So here are all of the AI capabilities that we have in Video Indexer, and a video worth 2,000 words, I think, if an image worth 1,000 words. So I will jump to the demo and show you this online. You can see all the text that appears upon the video, for example. And we can jump to this specific text. Within several seconds, you can get a translation of this video. I will translate it to Hebrew. Right and now. Okay, we are getting the Hebrew experience in a few minutes. Okay, and I will let it play and you can evaluate yourself.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Reese. In 1964, I was a little girl sitting on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Milwaukee, watching Anne Bancroft present the Oscar for Best Actor at the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope and said 5 words that literally made history.
אוקיי, אז ראיתם את התרגום, אני לא אמשיך את כל התרגום שיש פה, אני מקווה I hope that you are convinced. I even, translated to Hebrew. Okay, so as you can see, we also have several insights that we show our customers in the user interface. 1 minute, okay. So you can see 109 faces that were detected in this video. For some faces, we even know who are these people. For example, we know that this is Oprah Winfrey. Here is another celebrity. Our model covers 180,000 celebrities. Okay, we can detect them and read about them in Bing. More description of these specific persons. We can jump to a specific point in time where this person appears. For example, if I want to jump to this person, I don't have to watch the entire video. Simply.
But all I can do is quote and say that the explanation in
another one
television or through film is to.
So there is in the entire video you can see that there are 2 instances, and we can easily jump to these instances. Okay, I will move again to English. Okay, another insight is keywords, which are the main topics that were talked about in the video. For example, I can jump to Rosa Parks, who is an activist in the civil rights movement in the United States, and see what Oprah Winfrey is saying about Rosa Parks.
Anyone. But her story was reported to the NAACP, where a young worker by the name of Rosa Parks became the lead investigator on.
Okay, same logic holds also for labels. You saw some slides in the previous sessions about object detection. You can also you can see it work. Okay, you can see it works here. I can jump to specific instances of wine button. Okay, are you seeing it here? Another one. This was a false positive. Okay, so here is another one. You can see it. And last, I will show you one of our state-of-the-art models for emotion detection, which is based both on speech content and the voice tonality. It will be announced in 2 weeks. It's really a new one. It's developed here in Microsoft Israel, and I am the scientist behind this, so I'm not a psychologist. And I want now to jump to specific instances of sentiment where you can hear, for example, a negative sentiment, and in the background we also know which type of emotion is this, whether it's fear or sadness, for example. But still not announced, so I can't show you everything, but I can show you whether it's a negative sentiment or not. Let us hear this.
When she was abducted by 6 armed white men, raped and left blindfolded by the side of the road, coming home from church. They threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone. But her story was reported to the NAACP,
I would like to conclude with
a
a
young
positive
worker by the
sentiment.
name.
So
It's a privilege to share the evening with all of them, and also with the incredible.
No, even this one, it's the strongest one.
When that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again.
Thank you very much.